football season is a bonus, and I'm extremely excited about what this season brings. New season, new opportunities, and for this ball club. Excited about this first game for a lot of reasons. We get to open the season with a conference opponent in the University of Georgia. This game, has a theme around it, set the expectation. Excited about the set the expectation game. And for those who don't know, set the expectation is a campaign of awareness around sexual assault, domestic violence, and both in the University of Georgia, at Vanderbilt University, and have partnered to kick off the season, and that's outstanding. For those who don't know, every 92 seconds there's somebody in America is sexually assaulted, and that's something for us that we definitely have to speak out about, and then you move on to other issues like 50% of in all domestic assault cases and sexual assault cases that happen on college campuses in the fall directly are been associated with the idea of what happens in this time of year. There's a lot of partying, there's a lot of things going on. So if we can raise awareness, I think we're doing our part. And the idea is that men can stand up, athletics can stand up, college football can stand up, and that's exactly what we get a chance to do. So excited about the partnership. For us, there is a game that will be played though, and we understand exactly what that is. Both teams, have had the off season to prepare. Both teams went to bowl games, and we had a chance to have practices, spring ball. Now we take it into the fall. Our rosters are pretty set just in terms of what they are. It's just going to be a great opportunity to play a big game, a conference game here in Nashville, versus the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs. And again, I think our football team is equipped. We're excited about where we are, how we've prepared, and now what we got to do is start playing ball. So with that being said, I'll open it up for questions.
Derek, I don't know if it means anything, but the depth chart has a layout of a 4-3 defense.
Right.
Is there any kind of message in that? Y'all been 4-man front, 3-man front. You've been multiple fronts in the past, but
right.
Are you a 4-3 defense now?
I think we've morphed that way as our conference has morphed more towards playing 11 personnel. When you start seeing spread personnel, it morphs you a lot of times out of 3-4 structure. So for us, if you're playing 85% of your snaps, 90% of your snaps, okay, and then 4-3, defense, well then, it sort of changes, in the structure of what you are, and that's what we've tried to recruit to.
Do you have any update on Malik Langham?
No updates. Right now, Malik Langham. When we get something, we'll let you know.
What is the holdup there? Just the NCAA's process? There's no obstacles in terms of Florida with that, is there? No
obstacles. For us, it's just a process. Anytime you put in a waiver, okay, and you go through the process, the idea is that you're really at the hands of what that process is. We've sort of prepared to go play a football game, and if Malik Langham's ready, great. If he's not, then we keep moving.
Regardless of who your quarterback is, what do you need to see out of that quarterback to give you a chance to win?
I truly believe for us, when you look at where we are now, I think we have enough weapons. I think we're balanced enough in terms of what we do. The quarterback's going to have to manage the game, but he's also going to make plays as well. So with that, just stay within the framework of what we do. That's what we've worked on. We will understand what Georgia does, just like Georgia scouted us, but the idea is that we've gone against each other. So the only thing you can really worry about now is you. Let's fine tune what we do. Let's get ready to play a ball game, and let's let it rip.
When did you let whoever's going to be the starter know personally? I assume you let them know.
I'll let them know. I talked about it on the radio show, so I'm not going to tell you anything that it's not new news. And for me, the quarterback situation has been remedied. We understand who's going to start, who's going to back it up. And they learned last week, and now what we've been doing is just working at the idea of chemistry and what it takes to go play a good ball game. So I know most of you had a chance to watch the Miami-Florida game, and first ball games generally, have a lot of mistakes. So you're talking about mistakes. You're talking about offsides penalties. Delay a game, 12 men on the field. Those are all organizational things that you're looking to clean up. So right now, this group is just working on in those mechanics because you want to play a good game versus a good team.
Does that challenge you to be more patient within the game to understand there will be mistakes, or can you be that way?
You know what? I don't start with that idea. I start with the idea of owning your work. Everybody's a starter. Okay, but I don't care if you're offense, defense, special teams, black ops. Man, you got to own your work. Okay, and there's rules of the game. Okay, and I think what you have to do is set your expectations higher than the rules. So our expectations is go out and play well. Okay, not have any organizational penalties. Penalties happen during the course of the game, but I'm not trying to excuse that. I think if you excuse it, well, then you're saying that it's okay. It's not okay. Okay, what you're saying is let's play to the expectation and the standards that we've set. So let's be better. Let's upgrade it in 2019.
You've known for a long time you're going to be opening the season against Georgia on Saturday night. They're number 3 in the country.
Yes.
What's that challenge of diving, feet first into the deep end of the pool in conference play?
Well, I think Kirby, said it best yesterday. I mean, there's, everybody puts, a lot on these first games. I mean, they're big games because they're conference games. But when you look at it, we play a tough schedule, okay, yearly. And then we have a chance to play against good teams. This one just happens to come right out the gate. So what you got to do is focus, and you got to be where your feet are. I mean, it's important because it is a conference game. Nobody wants to get behind, in terms of conference scheduling. But the reality is you learn a lot about your team, a lot about yourself, a lot about what you did well, where you need to go. But, at the end of the day, you have two teams, both vying for a victory. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do, put together 4 quarters of good football.
Big opportunity then.
Big opportunity.
How do you approach what's coming Saturday with your offensive line? Because obviously it
Yeah.
starts with them. You're breaking in a new quarterback.
Yeah.
You got one of the best, if not the best, running backs in the SEC. But neither of them do anything if the guys in front of them don't do that job.
Yeah, it comes down to, fist versus fingers. Those guys have to work together. I mean, it's the ultimate team game, and, offensive linemen sometimes are those unsung heroes. Those guys are going to have to strain when they're playing against a really good defense. Georgia's got good players, and they're well coached. I respect Kirby and what they do, at Georgia. And they've always been big, physical, fast. But the idea is that we have to make sure we execute. So with that being said, it's focus on every play, understanding that you got to do your job, which requires discipline. And then at the end of the day, you got to strain the fingers.
If I remember right, after one of your scrimmages, you said you guys started fast in terms of going right into the scrimmage portion of that.
Yeah.
Have you tried to prepare your guys in the preseason to be ready to play quarter 1, game 1, rather than to have to work into the game slowly?
I think the idea of how we practice and how we scrimmage sort of takes care of that. I think now we've learned over time, and I think every year, you learn a little something different about the conference, how you have to prepare, what your roster looks like, and really what those games are going to look like. Today was a Tuesday practice, and our guys looked pretty good, for a Tuesday practice. I think it had a lot to do with how we pushed them in fall camp. I mean, the practices were long, they were physical, it was taxing. I think today, when I saw guys, nobody winded, everybody, been playing to the best of their abilities. Guys were straining, they weren't measuring, and I think that's when you know that you're in the type of shape that you need to be in. But you can never simulate a ball game. Ball games take a lot of energy, a lot of focus. And all the stimuli sort of starts to, drain you a little bit. So we try to do the best job that we can, putting those guys in that situation. And now what we got to do is go play a game.
To that point, we talked in the past about the first game kind of being a tone setter. With this game specifically, are we going to find out how tough your guys are right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, anytime when you play, in the team, the caliber of the University of Georgia, man, they're talented across the board. They're going to be physical. They're really good in special teams. Rodrigo Blankenship is one of the best kickers in the country. I mean, they're going to test us on special teams, so there won't be one phase, man, where we're going to, have the opportunity, to sort of take a play off. It just doesn't work that way. Georgia will make you pay. Having played Georgia, in the last, in a couple of years, when you look at them, then they beat on you. Why? Because they're big, they're physical, and then all of a sudden, it's a close game, and then it stretches itself out. So they are the type of ball club that makes you make mistakes. Okay, they try not to beat themselves, and we have to be that football team on Saturday. Let's give ourselves a chance by making sure we play good, fast, sound football. If the ball's in the air, we attack it. If the ball's on the ground, then we tackle it, and we'll let the chips fall where they may.
improving your run defense has been a focus. Georgia had 243 yards, if I remember their last visit here. How good is this going to test your how much you've improved?
Well, it's always a test. When you look at those guys up front, I mean, they're talented. I mean, they are big. I mean, I get back to, talented. I mean, those guys have played together. When you look at that offensive line, they're good. They're physical. They're big. Man, they push it. Man, they put their bodies on you, and they do it for 4 quarters. This group hasn't seen that yet. And so, we don't know, what they are. We think that they had a good fall camp. And we have more rotational depth. But it's nothing like lining up and playing against an SEC opponent to see exactly where you are. But, both teams have changes. I know Georgia's had some changes just in terms of coordinator. They don't have their receivers or that solid crew of receivers. They've got, one returner and some guys, who are, extremely talented. So everybody's going to learn a lot about themselves. This isn't a ball game where, I truly believe that you got to worry so much about what they do. You got to worry about what you do, because that's what matters.
I think it was year 2 that you opened with a conference point, that you were here. Is that right, South Carolina, year 2?
Yes.
Have you noticed in the off season? I know you approach every opponent in the off season. You know who it's going to be. Is there a difference though when it's a conference game to you, or has it been to you exactly the same, or is that something that says, hey, this is a conference game off the bat. This is a little bit different.
Well, they're all different. Every season, you got a different team, but it's different when you have number 3 coming in here. Okay, you know what they are, and you know how they play. This group understands. Again, it's a ball game for them. I don't think our kids are putting too much on this game or not enough on this game, and they work hard every day. I talk to these guys about winning the day. So win days. Let's stack good work on top of good work. Let's build some equity, and then let's line up on Saturday and play, good football. And that's what they've done so far. So I've got no reason to think that that's going to be otherwise. And so for me, I don't think I hype it up. I don't. I just know, playing in these types of ball games, it's a different arena. It's a different type of vibe around it. On Saturday, the stadium's going to be packed. Okay. Our guys don't always have an opportunity, to see that starting the season, but they're going to see it on Saturday. So let's make sure that you prepare for it mentally, physically, and let's go.
There's a new video board almost finished out there. There's
Yeah.
some game day enhancements. There's a DJ in the student section. What do you think about that approach to trying some things to improve the game day experience for the fans?
Well, I think our management team, truly understands, where we are. They've listened to the public. They understand loud and clear what needs to be done, and it's incremental. Okay, it's got to be incremental wins. We're going to make sure that we give, in our fan base and the people that come to watch Vanderbilt football, something to cheer about. An exciting venue. Something that makes sense for that. But it's about doing the little things to really enhance what that experience is, and that's what we're going to do. For me, I don't worry about it. I got a football team to prepare. That's what our management team does, and they've done a good job. So kudos to the management team.
1 or 2 more questions.
Coach, you have potentially 2 transfer corners starting lining up this Saturday.
Yeah.
What have you seen from them in camp that you think makes them ready to start potentially?
These guys compete. They know what it is. They played in ball games. When the game's not too big for them. And I think anytime you have that experience, it gives you confidence. And I think they've made the guys around them more confident. So, when you lose a guy like Juwan Williams and, Donovan, Sheffield, I thought, when you lose those guys, it's tough. But to have Cam and, Dante come in and right off the bat, and assert, their experience and their mindset as alpha males, really changed the dynamics of the room. It made Randall Haney better. It made, AG better. I looked up, all these young guys. Elijah Hamilton, stepped his game up. So, we're pretty deep, when it comes to corners, when you look at the secondary. So, I expect to see a lot of guys playing on Saturday, and we need them on defense and on special teams. Those guys know every play is pivotal, every role is critical, so make sure you do your job.
You got a chance to see Riley Neal on film a lot before he got here, I'm sure. What's different about him that you didn't know now that you've seen him in 2 camps?
Yeah, well, I think the competition between Deuce and him, was outstanding. I thought, these guys, Deuce's expertise of what we do and how we do it, challenged Riley's, idea of where he had come from. He had to change, some of his mechanics. He had to focus on like what we do. He had to, assimilate to, in a program that's run just a little bit differently. So, I've seen him, step into the shoes of being a guy who was new and now, you know, put himself in a position to compete. And that's where we sit today. I mean, both of those guys have done a really good job. I think Riley is focused. He's got a good arm. He's got, you know, experience behind him. But when it's all said and done, you can only march one of those guys out there, so we'll see on Saturday.
One more question.
Just to follow up on the 4-3 question. So you're saying y'all were in quite a bit of four-man front last year, so you're not really changing much, you're just doing a lot of what you did last year, and you've also been you're still using the nickel quite a bit?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for us, when you look at a lot of the nickel stuff that you see, I mean, it's all 4-3 structure. So again, when you play against spread teams, and that's what spread teams make you do, and you go back and you look at your season breakdowns, I mean, you wind up being more of a 4-3 team than a 3-4 team. So, you know, let's recruit to, you know, who we are and what we play against. And at the end of the day, we'll make subtle adjustments, you know, when we need to get us, you know, what we need, you know, to be different. So I'm not saying that we've, you know, totally gone to, you know, 4-3. I'm just saying that's what our structure looks like most of the time. So if that provides clarification, then hopefully I've helped you.
Chris with the last question.
Yeah, possibility we see both Riley and Deuce on Saturday?
I mean, possibility, anything's possible. I mean,
Stuff could fall out of the sky. I mean,
Yeah.
Is there a greater probability than that of that happening?
well, I mean, you never know. You're playing an SEC opponent. Anytime, you know, when you play against an SEC opponent, you know, it's nice to have two quality quarterbacks. I'm going to start with a quarterback, and at the end of the day, if I need to sub, then I'll sub. But then there's a 1, there's a 2. That's how we set it, and that's the way we'll play.
Thank you, Coach, very
Thank you.
much.
Yep.